J.D. Vance obliterated Jake Tapper. Jake Tapper, known for pushing hoax after hoax, including the Russian collusion hoax and many others, now got taken to the mat by J.D. Vance. This was a fun exchange, and J.D. was making it rain all across the media. He also showed up with Meet the Press and had a conversation with her. Look at him sipping his coffee like he's just cool as a cucumber. And there's more reaction because Kamala was apparently out with Big Gretch Rona getting drunk while this was happening. Trump's in Madison Square Garden, dazzling all of America and the world, and Kamala getting hammered with Big Gretch Rona. All right, so we'll listen to all of it. But here is the excerpt of J.D. Vance versus Jake Tapper, and this was fun.
Ask yourself a basic question about network integrity. You guys talked about the Russia hoax nonstop.
The FBI was investigating it. The FBI was investigating it. So we recovered them.
And so you took the words of unnamed FBI agents and put them on your network as if they were the gospel truth. You did it again and again. A viewer of your network would have believed that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin conspired in 2016.
No.
That was totally and preposterously false.
No, what you just said is false.
No, Jake, you did that. You did that with the Steele dossier. You were spreading around Hillary's fake email server story. She was reposting that fake excerpt from Jake Sullivan saying, our computer scientists have, ridiculous. They spread it all over the place. They did it again in 2020.
We covered an FBI investigation. I don't know why you want to talk about the FBI investigation.
You covered it in a way that gave credence to anonymous sources' accusations. You did it yourself. Your network did it, Jake. But again, can we talk about the issues that Americans care most about?
I'm talking about things that Donald Trump has said.
Yes.
If you have an issue with whether or not he's talking about the economy enough, that's between you and your running mate. I'm talking about things he has said this week.
Every single rally that he does, he talks about how he wants to unleash American energy so we can lower the cost
they don't
of
want to
groceries.
talk about
He talks about the fact that housing has become unaffordable. He talks about the wide open border, Jake. Kamala Harris and her allies. What's interesting, Kamala Harris and her media allies, and I would put CNN in this category. You guys seem to care.
I'll tell you that. They
should watch your network more because you guys seem to care more about Donald Trump's past than the future of the American people. We're running this campaign on making the American dream.
I'm specifically asking about how Donald Trump is going to be president in the future should he win. And then we're being told
he's going to pursue economic policies that lower the cost of groceries and make life more affordable again. He talks about it every single day on the campaign trail, and so do I. What you're talking about is an anonymously sourced story or one guy
anonymously sourced,
or one guy who is a disgruntled employee.
I told you
five other people pushed back against him and said that what he said was dishonest. So why don't we talk about the policy that's affecting American citizens and not what Donald Trump allegedly said, according to one guy who's pissed off because he got fired by Donald Trump?
Amazing. So it was a really great interview because then Jake Tapper says, what? Everybody who's coming out against Trump is just wrong and you guys are right. And he says, yeah, they are. They're all wrong. They're all warmongering neocons who are upset with Trump because he didn't take them to war so that they could just spend money on bombs and missiles for their defense contractor buddies. And Tapper was one of the biggest Russia collusion hoaxers of all time. There's a song, Russia collusion, Trump, Russia collusion, something, Russia collusion. It's all with Jake Tapper, okay? He's all over the place because that was his shtick. Now, no, it was Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. They had Michael Sussman feeding it to the FBI. It was fake. Then they fed it to the media. And Slate, I think, picked it up. It was all an operation. No different than the 51 laptop letter that was also fake information that they also ran with and shoved down everybody's gullet. Now Jake Tapper, and you could see he was not happy here. You can see if you was watching his face, I was watching his face as he was reacting to this. See this kind of like little right here, right there. What the heck? This dude's hitting me right there. He's right there. That little, see that? He's confused. He's not really used to this. I think he's probably having a moment of cognitive dissonance. I did not do those things, right? But you clearly did. So JD was also here on Meet the Press with, I think her name is Kristen Welker. Here's what he said.
So this week we learned that China was behind a broad hacking campaign targeting the phones of both presidential campaigns, highlighting the threat that China poses to this country. And yet Donald Trump recently called his domestic political opponents, quote, the enemy from within, and said they are more dangerous than Russia and China.
Yeah.
Do you believe that people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi are more dangerous than Russia and China?
Yes, I do.
I think what Donald Trump's
JD's going to say a nice political answer. Let's listen.
Said is that those folks pose a greater threat to United States' peace and security because America is strong enough to stand up to any foreign adversary.
Do you agree with him? They pose a larger threat to the United States than Russia and China?
What he said, and I do agree with this, what he said is that the biggest threat we have in our country, it's not a foreign adversary because we can handle these guys.
Right.
We can handle foreign conflicts. We can handle, look, under Nancy Pelosi's long life in public leadership, the United States has gone from the preeminent industrial power of the world to second next to China. That fundamentally belongs on Nancy Pelosi's shoulders. And if we're going to have a more prosperous country, we've got to recognize our own leadership is why we lost our industrial base to China. Our own leadership is failing to lead this country into peace and prosperity. And of course, Kamala Harris, look, when I look at the biggest threats to America, Kristen, I think the fact that people can't afford groceries, the fact that we can't meet our recruitment goals in the military, the fact that Americans have a wide open southern border, that's a way bigger threat than any foreign threat. And yes, it's caused by broken leadership.
Yeah, and Adam Schiff got censured for lying about the Russia collusion hoax, manipulating evidence, for being totally dishonest about that. That is instigating a war, a global world war with a nuclear power. Okay, it's treasonous behavior. And he did that to take out Trump, and he got caught doing that. So yeah, he's a much bigger threat. Nancy Pelosi, she cooed Joe Biden out of the White House. You want to talk about an insurrection? Talk about somebody undermining American democracy? It's Nancy Pelosi cooing a sitting president. And Trump and JD are absolutely right. And I have this right here. This is an American flag with a quote from Lincoln. And it says, "America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves." From Lincoln. So I think they're absolutely right about that. I've got a lot more concerns about Jocelyn Benson and Jenna Griswold throwing or attempting to throw Trump off the ballots and rigging elections, and Liz Cheney creating fake J6 insurrections. That is the real concern that we're actually worried about. And so Kamala, meanwhile, is out there having drinks with Big Gretch Rona. Here's what she sounds like. What? A fake FBI investigation?
Over a Kamala Zoo. Yeah. Okay.
Kamala Zoo. Yeah. He's the happiest Kamala's been that we've ever seen her.
Great rally. Good.
It was really good. And I just, it's you know what I see in the mayor. And just shouting it out, you know, first time vote. And just, yeah.
All right. I don't know what she was saying there. Something about first time voters. Okay. Anyways, I guess she's just one of the dudes having a beer with Big Gretch. Anyway, so they're out. Here was another excerpt. And I think that's an old clip, so we'll skip that one. But here was Kamala, who got asked about taking a cognitive test. And this is a funny one.
Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan, and he called you, Madam Vice President, a very low IQ person, and said, I think she needs to take a cognitive test. I think Kamala should have a test because there's something missing. There's something wrong with her. Donald Trump was on.
Oh, that ending, that clip is so good. That long pause and the cut. Whoever cut this video, cut it right there. It's just perfect. That long, silent pause. Yeah. Honestly, this type of stuff, I think, is really rattling to her. She already has an insecurity. It's already a reason why they say she's overprepared and why she does little. Somebody said she did a practice dinner before she went over to somebody else's dinner, somebody else's house or something, right? Not a real person. So when somebody asks her this, I don't know if she ever heard that. Would you imagine your opponent saying that about you and then somebody asking you to your face about that and then you not being able to answer in response to that, like stalling out on that question specifically? It's just brutal. And it's, I think, a psychological device of Trump. And I don't think I'm overstating that. He says that stuff so that it goes right into her brain and it fries something in her brain. She goes, you know what? I am mentally deficient. There is something missing. I really can't talk. I really can't do this. And then it sits in there like a little cancerous thought. And then it grows over time and it becomes all consuming. And I'm trying to think of a good analogy or a relational story. It's if you're doing a sport or something and somebody says, I know that's your weak side. You have a weak side. That side is very weak. You can't hit on that side. Somebody tells you that. And you go, oh, crap. Yeah, it is weak. I really can't hit on that side. And then you start hitting and you're like, I can't hit. I suck at this side. Yeah, I do. I'm terrible. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, one of those things. So I think that's what's happening here. Trump says she's terrible. She's an idiot. And he said, you're terrible. You're an idiot. She's like, oh, gosh, I am an idiot. I don't know what to say. So having a hard time out there. Anyways, it's one of those, right? It's very sneaky there. Trump's good at that. And he says stuff, and he did the same thing with the she's not black thing, right? He just seeded that. It was just this little thing. He seeded it, and now it's this huge thing. I don't know if she's black or not. I don't know. Some people say she's not. I don't know. And now it's like a whole thing. So he's doing the same thing. He's seeding that. He's just saying, I don't know. Maybe she's got no IQ points in there. Maybe. I don't know. And then eventually people will go ask, yeah, maybe she is dumb. I don't know. Here's another video.
We're afraid of the cages.
You know, here's the thing. I so strongly believe that our campaign in this fight really is not against something, it is for something.
We're afraid of the cages.
We're afraid of the cages. All right, so that's Kamala. All right, meanwhile, Trump is out, and they just released this new video ad that was apparently played during the Eagles game. Let's check this out together.
When I first came into office, I cut taxes more than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Heck yeah. Amazing. So good stuff. We're in the final countdown, my friends, the final week. And so I hope you're feeling energized as we are here. Hopefully your ballot is getting its final felt tip pens or whatever marking device you're supposed to use, and you're getting it in.